Hey everybody, welcome. If somebody could just give me a comment in the chat, make sure that you can hear me and that we are currently live on YouTube. We literally just got into the habitat. Things never seem to go quite as fast as you think it's going to. Cool, we hear me loud and clear. So welcome from Jules Undersea Lodge. Literally you just joined during a hectic time with us. I literally just got showered into the dry space. I haven't even seen the whole habitat left yet, so we're going to do this together. So we don't have slides for this, but just to kind of start here, I'm going to see if I can catch these guys first. So not all of us are even in here yet, so that's fun. So one thing that you'll learn from working with underwater habitats, analog facilities, is that things never take the amount of time you think they're going to take. So we thought we'd have about an hour in here before we started this live stream. I've had a whole 5 minutes in here, and that was getting the laptop set up. So with that, this is going to be a fun conversational. I know you can't talk back, but we do have a chat here, so feel free to post in the chat and let me know any questions you have. And here is Dr. Drexler.
Hi, everybody.
Danny Welsh says, hello, everybody. It's great to see you all underwater. So glad this is happening. We are too. We're excited. We just got in here. People are still showering. People are still diving. So this has been a hectic ingress. During this live stream, we can talk about a lot. So I want to go over some of the history, like why are we here? Why are we underwater? Where are we? And also talk about some of the stuff we're doing during the 24 hours that we're going to be living here underwater. So questions are always going to be fair game. Talk about research. Is this a planetary sim? We'll get there. We'll get to the research. So because things are a little bit hectic right now, I'm going to switch up the stream a little bit. I'm going to probably just do a little walk around, a little tour, because there's a bit going on because we're the only two dry ones so far. So as you just saw, we just saw two people swimming, scuba diving outside. We just got our gear in, so we've got people kind of coming and going. But I think everybody's inside now, correct? Yep. Cool. We got our team inside. So our team is myself, Scott Van Hoy. We got Dr. Drexler, as well as we have Olivia Turner, one of our students at APUS, and then Luis Gonzalez, which is active duty Air Force, as well as student at APUS as well. So this team is through the APUS Analog Research Group at the American Public University System, and so we'll talk a little bit more about AARG, but just to take advantage of the hectic kind of nature of what's going on right now, I'll kind of take you on a little bit of a tour. So let's go. First question as I'm kind of getting up, how long is the mission? So this one is going to be 24 hours underwater. So we just ingress will be out about 24 hours later tomorrow. So this is going to be carrying around a laptop. Didn't have time to get a phone set up or anything. So essentially, this is going to be the kitchen area. So underwater here, we have a little kitchen, which is nice, a little homey. They put in some snacks for us, which is always nice. Next question, how deep are we? So we're currently 20 and a half feet is the habitat holding pressure. So we're about 20 feet underwater, right on the edge of no decompression limits. So we will have no decompression as we come out of here, but we are very cautious of the risks associated with saturation, which we'll talk a lot more about with some of our research that we're doing. So as you can see, looking down, this little kind of first part of the tube here, we have a refrigerator, kind of an area to eat. Yes, a great whirlpool. That's the wrong side. That's how new we are to the habitat. You don't even know how the refrigerator opens. And so just a little area to sit. We do have a window on the other side, which I just showed you outside. A couple people swimming by, which we'll do some excursion dives while we're here. So what we'll do is we'll kind of go out and be able to explore kind of the surrounding lagoon area. And I'll show where we're at. We are in a small lagoon in Key Largo, Florida. And so not off the coast, but in about 20 and a half feet of depth. So kind of a small little living area here. But if we go kind of like this hatch here, Dr. Drexler, if you could open that.
Hey, guys.
Let's make sure everybody's dressed first.
We're live.
Everybody good in there for us to come in, getting showered?
I did get showered, but I'll just come in.
What?
Do you want me to just come in? I haven't showered.
I'm about to do a tour.
We're live.
We're live.
Okay, you want me to just sit by the moon pool and be like, oh, I just got out?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
we're gonna lie. Yes, as we are live. Okay, so as I mentioned before, we're kind of doing this a little non-standard because we got in here a little later than what we wanted to today. Things tend to take longer underwater, so we're doing the tour first. Also, I'm answering questions as we go. So the girls say hi, Scott. That's really sweet. Thank you. Tell them I said hi back from Jules Undersea Lodge. So does the hab need to be heated or is it warm enough? So the body heat in here does tend to heat up the hab, and it tends to need air conditioning more than anything. So the surrounding water right now is about 70 degrees. So that surrounding environment does keep the habitat right around there. But when in the summer, when the water is around the 80-degree mark, it gets toasty in the habitat. So it doesn't really need heating. It usually needs air conditioning. So today we're looking pretty good though. The water is a little bit chilly coming in. And I got to figure out how to get down here. Got to hand the laptop to Olivia.
Olivia, show yourself.
Show myself.
Hey.
So right now we are on what's called the wet porch. So the wet porch is, and I'll turn the laptop around here in a second, is where we entered. So right now, right behind us is the shower and then the bathroom. So.
Shower.
And also didn't introduce Olivia. This is Olivia Turner. And we'll do a quick crew introduction here. Everybody will have time to kind of talk to themselves after this tour. So sitting over here in the hot tub, that's Luis Gonzalez, one of our students here at APUS. He was the last one to get into the habitat, so still kind of, oh, that's nicer, just water. One of the last person to get out of here. He's still not quite dry enough to go in the rest of the habitat, so you haven't seen it yet. So
No, they know more about it than I do.
and I haven't been on the half of it. So as you can see, we have all of our dive gear in here. So we entered through that moon pool there. So even though it looks like a hot tub, that is where we entered the habitat down here at about 20 feet. And we got all of our gear put together, and we've been showering and trying to get dry. So before we go into the next section, see if there's any more questions. So I missed the beginning. Sorry if I asked anything already answered. Please ask questions. That's why we're here. We love talking about this. And we have a ton of experience here between students and professors and active duty military, and also people who have completed other AARG missions. So how long did it take to get to scuba to your location? So this was a really short dive to get here. So if we were to go straight down, only a couple minutes. We did a familiarization of the outside of the habitat. So that made it to where we could go kind of be familiar with excursion dives, which means leaving the habitat and coming back. So I'd say the dive was, maybe 15 minutes to get down here, but we could have done it quite a bit quicker. So it's only 20 feet of depth. So yeah, it's pretty quick. And then, like Terry said, we're underwater for 24 hours. So this will be a 24-hour kind of pilot mission to conduct some research, outreach, and education, which we'll talk more about here after the tour. So moving on, I haven't been in this part of the habitat yet, but it's the bedrooms.
Yay.
And the habitat's small. It's just I got in here right before the live stream started. So I'll hand the laptop to Olivia.
Well, you get showered.
If you just want to hold the
I'll
laptop
get 'em.
for a second. So we got the window, another window. So this is the bedroom. It's the same size as the other side that we showed you with the kitchen. But we do have two bunks here. Looks like a little sink. I'm discovering this as we go. Then we have a window behind us. So this is where we'll be sleeping tonight. And then on the other side, we have another window.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know which one.
And another couple bunks. And then a couple of Nemo fish. Some pillows. Cool. I can take the laptop
Yes, sir.
back. And that's the whole habitat. That's the tour, pretty much. I don't know whose bed this is, but
It's yours now.
yeah, it's yours and mine now. Any other questions yet? How many can the hab sleep? The hab can sleep 4, and Terry's doing a great job in answering these questions as they come. Terry, please keep helping out.
Yeah.
And then also, how large is the habitat? Does it feel cramped, which is us and the crew? You just got the whole tour. It's small. It's maybe the volume of a school bus, maybe.
Yeah.
And then then there's the entry area, which is the wet porch, which can hold a little bit more room, but it's not a lot of working space. Who built the habitat? I don't know who built La Chalupa, which was the initial habitat version of this back in the 1970s, but it was a shipbuilding company that did it. So ship and submarine builders tend to make these habitats, but they haven't been made in over 50 years. So this habitat's a little bit old. So with that, I can get a little bit of history of the habitat, where we actually are, what we're doing here. Is the habitat sealed, or is it venting to the surface? It is venting. So there's constant airflow going through here and being pumped down. So just in order for the life support systems to be able to support us down here, it is constantly venting to the environment with just the air. So first of all, who are we? So we are students and faculty at the American Public University System. We are members of the APUS Analog Research Group, which is a student-led research organization at APUS. And what we focus on is called space analog research. So space analog research means research that is analogous to spaceflight. So a lot of us are space studies program, however, not everybody is, but we all care about research related to space activities. So what's really cool about being underwater is one of the best ways to simulate space here on Earth. So if you look throughout history and kind of how we got here to this habitat today, let's see if I can fit all of us.
Squeeze it. Luis
Yeah.
is almost here too.
Here's three of us. Luis is still drying up as we just got in here. So a little bit of the background behind these habitats. So back during the space race. So if you think back during the 1960s and the 1970s, when we were trying to be the first to the moon, and the first to space, first to the moon, and we had the race going on with the Soviet Union. There's also a second race going on that was analogous to the space race, and that was the underwater race, essentially. Nobody really talks about it because the race was kind of with the French, so not super competitive, but also it was with kind of one another, so like within organizations with the United States. So dozens of habitats like this one popped up during the 1960s and 1970s to try to live on the ocean floor. One of the most prominent one was the United States Man in the Sea program, which was commanded by, at one point, Scott Carpenter, which was part of the Mercury astronaut corps. So after he flew and left NASA, he came over, he was already Navy. He came over to the Man in the Sea program for the United States Navy and became part of the Sea Lab program. After the Sea Lab program, we had the Tech Type program, which was the first time NASA got involved in these, and NASA wanted to see how people would manage living in these environments. So Tech Type was one of the people that worked on that. His name was Juan Koblik. And Juan Koblik was kind of an operations, logistics, kind of maintenance guy during Tech Type, and gained a ton of experience with underwater living with NASA-funded research, and eventually decided that he wanted to make his own habitat and create his own program. So that habitat that he decided to build in the late 1970s was called La Chalupa as part of the Puerto Rico International Undersea Laboratory. And that's the habitat we're in today. It's now called Jules Undersea Lodge, which was rebranded in 1986. But since then, this has been one of two habitats that are available for people to stay in. The other one being Aquarius Reef Base, which is the common habitat that NASA has used for the past decade for part of their NEMO programs. So there's a long history of using underwater habitats for space research, and we ended up being here today because of the efforts that people put in during the space race to also live underwater. So I'll kind of get into a couple questions here as they're coming in. So where are we at here? Is the HAB... okay, we did have sealed, have vented, built in the 1970s. How are you guys getting internet down there? So that's a really good question. So we're in a lagoon just off the coast. So this habitat is connected to shore power and to shore internet. So the habitat is remote in the sense that we're 20 feet underwater. However, it is connected to shore air, shore power, and shore internet. So that makes it to where we can get internet down here. So Aquarius Reef Base, which is the other habitat here in which is the other habitat here in the Key Largo area. So they actually get it through a microwave antenna from a life support buoy. So there's different ways different habitats can get internet, but here it is shore-based. So is it steel or fiberglass or something else? Thankfully not fiberglass. We've seen how that can work in recent events. But this is a steel structure. It is basically two large steel tanks that are put together by a steel constructed wet forge. So this habitat back in the 1970s was saturated at about 4 atmospheres, and we're at about 1 atmosphere. So this is well within what this rated structure is for the habitat. And then 24 hours consecutive is what qualifies as an aquanaut, is a comment from Terry. That's true. So just like there's the term astronaut, the term aquanaut has been coined, and the accepted definition of an aquanaut is somebody who is saturated at depth for a 24-hour period. So this would qualify us as aquanauts. I like to caveat that with, if you look at the kind of aquanaut missions that went on during the 70s and 80s, it was right there with what early astronauts were doing. So all those kind of missions in the past have paved the way for this to be a safe endeavor today. So is it named for Jules Verne? It is named for Jules Verne. So when they renamed it, they did name it after Jules Verne for here at Jules. Cool. So
you're doing great. Keep going.
I know, so much adrenaline. So if you're joining a little bit late here, we just wanted to say that we kind of did the tour first. We got in here a little bit later than we wanted to, but we're on here now and we're all dry. And so I'll spend a couple minutes talking about the mission, what our goals are, and then we'll pass it off to one person at a time to talk about kind of why they're here, where they're from, what they're doing, and what their goals are. So talked about we're from APUS and AARG. So the next question, we've talked about, I guess, why underwater and the history of using underwater as a space analog, but why here, why now, why us? So for us, we wanted to get in for the APUS Analog Research Group to do underwater habitats for the reasons we've described. But with the two habitats, we've been working to form partnerships with both of them to allow student research and opportunity for the American Public University system. And what's cool about this team is as we came together for this mission at Jules for just this 24-hour period to really figure out what this facility can offer us as students and faculty, what kind of education opportunities and research we can have. And then and really just get here to conduct some pilot research and also to conduct education and outreach. So over this 24-hour jam-packed period, we're going to reach everybody from pre-K to I think 70s plus. Yeah. So we're doing education outreach all the way from early childhood to elderly communities. And so, hey there, mission director here. Hey.
All right.
That's awesome.
Aww, that's great.
Yeah. So we're not alone down here. We have Ricky up kind of supporting us throughout this whole process. So Ricky was awesome. He's watching us during this entire time, 24-hour short support. If anything goes wrong, he's our guy. He's there to conduct rescues, to help with logistics. He got all of our gear down here. He showed us the habitat. So we can't thank him and Jules enough for really getting us down here and supporting us, especially since I was stressing out, being like, we're going to miss the live stream. And then he's like, we'll get you there. We'll get you to the live stream. And we did. Very close, but we did. So I really appreciate that. And then Danny says, I'm really proud of you for all being there and proud for terrestrial support team. Yeah, and that goes for AARG as well. So we do missions to the Inflatable Lunar Mars Analog Habitat at the University of North Dakota, which is a NASA-funded facility. And we've done a mission to the Mars Desert Research Station as well. Not necessarily all of this crew has been there, but we've all supported, done research, and have really kind of supported those facilities. So we understand the importance of shore support, and we're often the shore support. So we really appreciate everything that goes into this. And then Kristen Miller and Alvin are the best. That is no joke. That is no joke. They are what keeps this running, and we really support, and they really support us for everything that we do. So the outreach that we're doing, I'll let everybody talk about kind of what they're doing individually. And then we also have a pilot study for looking at decompression stress. And I'll talk about, I'll go last as far as the talking, because I've been doing a lot of talking. So I will let you do it. You're like, yeah. So I'll go last and talk a little bit about a pilot study we have going on for decompression stress. But at this point, feel free to keep posting your questions as we go. But I'll pass it over to Olivia to talk about herself and kind of why she's here.
Yay. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Hey everybody, Olivia Turner here, APUS student, Master's in Management program. And I am here doing outreach for women in science and for women.
Association for Women in Science and WSTEM.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing recon work for future missions and seeing what is this whole facility about. It's amazing. It's been so surreal. It's like, wow, I'm here. A lot of hard work went into this. I'm super thankful for everybody that has put all this together. Big kudos to just everybody involved. Thank you all for your support as well. And Dr. Drexler here.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Boy, this is kind of like being on stage.
I know.
Really good to see everybody. And Dean Welsh, thank you for being here. Terry, thank you for supporting on the surface. And kudos completely to Dr. Miller, Dr. Kristen Miller, and Scott for working together to make this opportunity happen for all of us. We're so eternally grateful for this. I mean, this is such a one-of-a-kind experience. And for us to be able to share it with you and with fifth graders in California and a retirement home in Colorado and talented high school students from Florida, the whole nation, east to west, is sort of learning from this experience too. And that's because APUS has invested in us and thought that this was an important experience. And it is for education outreach and for research, the research that Scott is doing. Also, we're doing a little bit of research reconnaissance for Olivia's project, growing microgreens using and things of that sort. So, and this facility itself is so interesting. The lagoon, we're in a lagoon, so we're not on the seaside, but we're in a facility that the infrastructure itself is creating an artificial reef. So we were able to scuba dive around the facility. We took 15, 20 minutes to scuba dive around the facility and check things out. I guess a couple of us saw the largest barracuda. The others we missed it, but if those barracuda are here, there's so many really cool. We're in a mangrove lagoon, so just to see how that works. I'm in New Mexico right now, so it's really cool for me to actually see how the system works. We're going to be talking to the high school students about marine and coastal areas, the conservation and biodiversity. And it's such a cool experience. And thank you for allowing us to be here and to share it with you. And a couple of questions. Thank you. Let's see. Olivia. Oh, Olivia was the commander on our fall Ilma mission.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was part of that mission.
Yeah. Luis.
Yeah,
Cool.
and Dr. Drexler. So we're a little bit low on battery, and the power's over on the other side.
Oh yeah,
You
we
wanna
should
take
go
it to
over
the
there.
side?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should. Yep. Scott, thank you for paying attention to that stuff.
That was Olivia that pointed it out. Cool. So we're gonna migrate back to the other side, outside the bedroom area, and then from there we're gonna be able to
Luis.
plug in the laptop.
Yeah, cool.
Oi, ayuda.
Hey. You guys may be wondering why I brought you here. My turn?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Sam. Cooler in here.
I'm just gonna scoot in. Hey, how's it going? I'm Luis Gonzalez. I'm a student at APUS. Been at APUS for 2 years. Space studies, aerospace science. Thank you. Good mission in the fall with Ilma, with Olivia as my crew commander. I am here primarily doing outreach with Niceville High School out of Niceville, Florida. They have a really cool dive program. It's called the Nagisa Dive Program. First of all, these are the sharpest high school students I've ever seen. Not that I've seen that many, but they're very sharp. So what these guys do is they dive around the world and then they go in different depths. So I think it's like 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, and 30. I think feet or meters. I don't know. These guys are global. And they'll go down and they'll set up habitats. And these habitats, they'll leave it for a year, and it's a structure that has like vertical spacing between like a set of bars. And they'll leave them for a year, and the habitat will grow a reef pretty much. And so once the reef grows, they'll come back in a year and then they'll examine what kind of biodiversity they have at different depths and at different proximities to pretty much human settlements. And they'll see how they impact the ecosystems from being near, very populated areas. So I'm just trying to show the Negisa program, gifted students from Niceville High School, what opportunities there are for them to continue their interest, one, in science, and two, to showcase that sea-space connection that's very prevalent underwater. Yeah.
Cool.
My turn?
Yeah, I think so.
Me again. So my name is Scott Van Hoy. I've been part of the APUS Analog Research Group since the beginning, with Dr. Miller and I, and Terry Trevino is on as well. And just, we had a small team that kind of started the group about 3 years ago, and it's really grown a lot since then. And so I had the opportunity about a year ago now to go to Aquarius for an introduction to saturation diving class. And I knew after that class, like, that couldn't be the only time. Like, we sent 2 students there. We had 2 students, then also an affiliated member go. And we knew that couldn't be the only time APUS gets out to a facility like this to utilize. So that's when the planning for this started. So this project is PIRATE, so Parrot In Situ Research Analog and Technology Evaluation. And so we're really happy to kind of lead from the terrestrial analogs to the undersea. And I've been here since the beginning of this, and it's been fantastic. So I graduated with a MS in Space Studies degree about a year ago. I've stayed on as a student taking courses for like undergraduate non-degree seeking for pre-medicine. And then since then, I've also been a PhD student in human factors. And part of my research is habitability risk mitigation using these types of facilities. So how do we use these facilities to mitigate risk of habitability for space before we actually go back to the moon and to Mars from there? So the study I'm doing while we're here is a pilot study. So I have a portable that's pretty new to market, subclavian, so below the clavicle, Doppler ultrasound. And what we're doing with that is when we get out of the habitat after saturating here, so being at this depth for 24 hours, we'll use that ultrasound to figure out what is the decompression stress that we experience coming out of the habitat. Because we're really close to those what's called no decompression limits, to where we can still surface right away without getting decompression sickness, but we're close to those levels. So I want to be able to see like how good is this system at measuring at kind of this research and operational environments, and then also what variability is there, because we all went through the same dive profile, we all saturated the same version. So what factors can actually cause people to have different levels of decompression stress compared to others? So this being a pilot study, we are partnering with the University of North Dakota, who has a mission here in about 24 hours, less than 24 hours after we get out, they're getting in. So our partnership with the University of North Dakota has been awesome, and they've allowed us to use ILMA for a couple of years now. And now we're here being able to help them, and then also their research participants in our studies as well. So being able to have those data points will kind of show that, is this a good system to maybe do a larger scale study at these types of facilities to figure out why do some people, or why are they more likely to get decompression sickness than others? And then the more we kind of flesh out those variables, think about like the space application, to where a habitat's going to be one pressure, the EVA suit is another pressure. And you have to go through some kind of pre-breathe or some kind of mitigating factor to make sure you don't get decompression sickness in space. So the more we can get this personalized decompression and realize that why some people might get it under the same dive profile, or like decompression stress under the same dive profile while others don't, the more we can learn about that, the more we can customize it to the person. So this is a pilot study to see if maybe we can launch a larger study down the road. I'm excited to see kind of the results of that as we go through. So I'll give a shout out to Olivia and Luis, who got some training on the Doppler ultrasound system. And we did that this morning. So we all know how to use the system, understand how it works, and are all capable of using it. So any questions coming in? So Luis was amazing on the fall ILMA crew, no doubt, no doubt. Scott is not only a pilot lead, but the first and founding program manager for ARG. Yeah, and yeah, and yeah, the small team of students who created this program, like it's truly been a team effort, and that goes up and down the APUS kind of chain of command. So we can't give enough thank you all the way from the provost and Dean Welsh and Dr. Albin and Dr. Miller and Dean Douglas. And I know I'm missing people, but everybody that has helped us along the way. And like, you have really made this program what it is today and allow us to be able to come out and do these things, gather research, conduct outreach, and really make APUS not just an online university, but an online research institution as well, which is amazing. So decompression stress is of concern for astronauts and EVA as well. Yeah, huge concern, and so much so that they actually increased the pressure gradient for potential Moon and Mars EVA, which means that if you increase the pressure on the suit, you decrease decompression stress, but decrease mobility. So then you have a higher increase of orthopedic injury and things like that due to a potential fall or being able to maneuver the suit. So there's all these trade-offs, and the more information we can have about this, the more we can kind of mitigate these risks for the Moon and Mars. President Fernandez has been very supportive. Well, definitely. Yeah, thank you. I definitely forgot to mention him, but yes, absolutely. Cool. And more comments. I love these. We're very grateful for the support of APS community, including graduate research office, marketing, and social media as well. Yeah, huge shout out to the social media team for this too, like marketing, research office, and just getting this information out to share with other people because. And Ferris, yes, thank you. Ferris has been huge throughout this time because she's been working mission operations and putting together schedules. So without her kind of getting the minute by minute going for this mission, like, it just keeps us on track and makes it to where we know what's coming next at all times. Ferris equals rock star, definitely, 100%. And so I guess any other shout outs that we need to do for anybody?
The UND team.
Kim Jacobs for the shirts. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for the
These are
shirts.
great.
Awesome.
And faculty travel, all the folks who financially helped us to get here. It's very, very meaningful for us to be here. And yeah, it's wild because we literally just got online, haven't really scoped the place out. Upon coming up with our scuba tanks on and everything, we had to kind of quickly get out of those and then come here to talk with you. So we're just sort of, I don't know, adjusting and getting used to this environment. It's wild.
And we're about to go back out.
And we're about to go back out. We're gonna, in order to be an aquanaut, a certified aquanaut, we have to do 3 dives, and one has to be a night dive. And so, yeah. So our awesome guide is going to come back and do a couple dives with us, I think. Yeah. So Ricky, thank you. We're looking forward to seeing you. Yeah, and it's just a fantastic place. Really wanted to explore it. And a fantastic view. Yeah, we're gonna poke around a little bit in there and see what we can find, what kind of other fishes we can see. So yeah. I think this is a lot of fun, and it's great. It's a great group. Scott's an awesome leader. Where would we be? You're the youngest of all of us, but probably the most articulate and the smartest of all of us.
Talk too much.
So really, really proud of you and proud of you guys. Happy to be here as part of this team. So, yeah.
Fearless there.
Cool. Well, this is ended up being kind of a short stream, but is there any other questions? I'll give people a little bit of time here just to kind of type anything you might have in the chat. We'll kind of switch over to general Q&A. So if you have anything, we will, since we can't really talk to you and you're in the chat, we'll sit here awkwardly while we wait for you to type in messages here. So we're here to answer anything that you may have. It could be about APUS. It could be about being a student. 2 of us are active duty military, so if you're interested about maybe student life. Any leaks in the hab? Anybody want to try to tackle some of these?
What was the question?
Any leaks in the hab?
Oh, that we've noticed? No, but I'm sure maybe if we mess with a couple of these rivets, maybe that could be a study.
The AC
We're just
system
kidding,
is
Ricky.
technically leaking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Circulating air, but
I guess all leaks are purposeful. They're by design.
purposeful.
So no leaks that aren't supposed to be here. What's for dinner? Pizza
yeah.
and salads,
Yes.
yeah.
We're
So-
having them delivered. We're having the pizza. So Ricky and his crew up at Jules, up top. What do you guys call it? Like
Mission short
upside or
short control. No,
Yeah.
short control.
Well, anyway,
Sure.
it's kind of funny because
Short control.
part of it is that we're going to have pizza delivered to us by the scuba diver, probably Ricky, I imagine. But yeah, it's really we'll take a lot of pictures. We've been taking a lot of pictures and videos for Narissa and her folks, social media. So yeah, we're just excited to be here. It is wild, I tell you. This is a pretty cool experience.
Could you tell us why you personally chose, or why you personally are excited to be a part of this mission?
Who?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
Who asked that one?
That's for everybody, but I'm starting with you.
Oh. Well, I'm very, very lucky. I'm a latecomer to this. And I think it's by knowing Dr. Miller, by being a faculty in the department. So we work under Dr. Ed Albin, who's space studies and earth sciences. So I'm on the earth sciences part, which is why I think Dr. Miller thought I could be a subject matter expert for Olivia's project. So Olivia is doing this amazing, awesome project growing microgreens using testing it on lunar regolith and Martian regolith. And so we could talk about that. In fact, I think you have plans to talk about that. So tune in when we do this again. Watch the YouTube channel and other media that we're putting out. We're going to be doing that along with other outreach and education programs while we're here over the next 24 hours. So stay tuned and visit us again, especially at 7:00. Eastern time when we talk to student chapters, WSTEM, AWS, SACNAS, AIAA. I hope SEDS is going to join us too, because the Sea to Space connection is really strong, more prevalent than I would have ever expected. So it's really cool. Yeah, so I was lucky to sort of help with Olivia's project and be a subject matter expert. Somehow I don't know. I was lucky enough to be selected to come here. So very, very happy about that.
Scott gave me a book called Sea Lab, and it talks about aquanauts back in the day. So I'm really excited to. There's only so many places in the world where you can still saturate underwater, right? There's only actually two that I can think of.
Right now, really just kind of one like standard, because Aquarius is currently life support buoy down.
So one place where you can really saturate underwater, and the opportunity to do it with a team like this, through the university, through APUS ARG, who has given me the opportunity to do a mission to ILMA. It's just a phenomenal opportunity, and how many people can say that they saturated? Yeah, it's 25 feet, but you're still saturating. So, really amazing opportunity.
I just thought the idea of coming down in an underwater habitat was beyond amazing. And so I reached out to Dr. Miller and to Scott and was like, what is all this about? So they filled me in. I took the Florida International University. Is that right?
Yeah.
FIU, yeah. Florida International University's saturation diving course, and learned a buttload of information that was unknown to me. And this has just opened up a whole different perspective that I never considered. And yeah, I can't believe we're all here. So I enjoyed the training for getting scuba certified to participate in this activity. And I'm super grateful for Scott, for all the ARG team. Love you all. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
So I've been diving for a little while now, and I've loved learning how to dive and doing courses and learning about decompression physiology. And I've been trying to find a good way to get involved with that kind of research, and especially with Jules and with Aquarius, these types of facilities are no-brainers with the sea-space connection. So I really wanted to try to figure out how we could get students there and really get more people involved with these facilities, especially since Aquarius has really just been the Navy and NASA throughout most of its time, and marine biology research. So I really wanted to find a way to combine what I love with diving with the research I'm doing for my PhD, and this is the best way to do that. So a couple more questions here. Feed to the crew. Nope, we just did that. Is wastewater pumped to the surface?
And Ricky answers that.
He did.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Ricky, awesome that you're in here. Thank you so much. But then you ask, how many pizzas? How many can you fit in the case?
This is the one right here.
Nice. What qualifications are needed to participate in a stay at Jules? Yeah, so what's really cool about Jules is that you only need an open water diving certification, and then they'll go over a little bit about what saturation diving is and what to expect. And really, it's people like Ricky that will keep you safe when you're down here. So the certification to be down here is just the open water diver certification. Granted, we tried to kind of re-up our diving certifications while we were here, and we tried to not just hit the minimums, of course. But that's all you need. So if you're a certified scuba diver and you want to come saturate or do some kind of research outreach project, do research, or just stay down here for a vacation, because ultimately this is Jules Undersea Lodge. It is a underwater hotel, and you can pay as an open water diver to come stay here. So any of those things, you can come down and come have this experience. And it doesn't have to be a research or outreach endeavor. It's and that just shows like how the research and the physiology research and the Man at Sea program has really opened up the doors to making this a normal thing that everyday people can do, which I think is pretty cool. And any long-term issues with that's covered. Is that sat diving? Long-term issues with sat diving. So there is some research with this, and I don't know it all off the top of my head for long-term for being in saturation. There are some potentially neurologic effects that are that can be detected via MRI. I don't have all these memorized off the top of my head, but you're talking once we get into these types of studies, you're talking about commercial saturation. So commercial saturation. So what these programs kind of open the door to is, if you have seen the movie or the documentary like The Last Breath on Netflix, like that's a really good one to look up to really get a feel for like what saturation diving is like on a commercial side. So talking United States military, or any military, talking commercial divers who are going down to do welding on oil rigs. They're not saturating at 20 feet like we are. They're saturating at 400, 600, 800 deeper feet for extended periods of time, usually a 30-day sat. So there are potential long-term effects with that, and I don't have a great answer for everything that could lead to, but it's definitely an entire kind of field to make sure that these underwater workers, are staying safe. Well, are there any other questions from anybody in the group? How will being part of this mission and other AARG missions support your education at APUS and your future career? I'll pass that one to Lydia to answer.
Oh my God, no! Don't ask.
What's the question? Can you repeat it?
How will being part of the mission and other ARG missions support your education at APUS and your future career?
Oh my gosh, there's nothing more valuable than actually being in the field. Doing field research is invaluable. The huge proponent of it. The experience, but also the service aspect too of sharing what you're learning. It makes you be a better learner to be able to share what you're learning. So both of those aspects, the actual physical field work, the field research that's being conducted, it's very meaningful. It's it's kind of using the teacher-scholar model where you're practicing what you're teaching. Or you're practicing what you're learning. It's better than what you can learn in any textbook. So invaluable field research experience for sure, but also sharing that research, both of those things, sharing that research through education and outreach is super helpful. So not just sea to space stuff, but also plants. We're learning about marine ecosystems, mangrove ecology right out here, nurseries, fish nurseries. It's so cool to see this in real life rather than read about it in books. So
it was amazing. I really enjoyed it, and I asked Luis to zoom in with his GoPro because there were some really cool shots out here.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
I'm excited because this kind of goes hand in hand with like everything that we're looking at our masters for the APUS space studies course. So it touches a lot of things, right? So it touches on physiology, the sea space connection, obviously it's in the title, space studies, right? And this also has forced me to look into other things that the master's course sometimes like lightly covered, but I had to like dig in more just to find out like what's the differences between the physiology of being down here, physiology of being down there. There's different stressors, and also like a lot of the other research that's going on, like on the psychology and physiology of isolation and confinement that you can experience like at ILMA or MDRS. So that's been huge for me.
Any other questions for us?
There's an environmental impact question, but we could cover that later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we have some time if you want to talk about it.
Sure.
I'll get all the way because I got to pee.
Oh.
We haven't even.
Oh no, they're all taking off. Wait.
I'm sliding back over.
You're on your own.
No, I'm not. Thank you. I'll support you.
Thank you.
Here comes Scott.
Okay.
Get over here.
We just needed a break.
Go to the bathroom.
Go back.
Bye.
Yeah, we
Hope you find your dad.
just got up here from scuba diving, so we haven't even checked in with our families yet. But that's what we'll do right as soon as we hang up with you. But yeah, there was one question that I was aware of about the environmental impact of a facility such as this. Good question. There's some literature out there on this topic. And I'd love to, if anybody's interested in it, I'd love to. In fact, what I could do is I could put my email in the chat. I'd love to communicate to you directly about this. But at 7 p.m. Or maybe we'll talk a little bit about that in the WSTEM and AWIS and AIAA student chapter meeting and field trip. We're doing a field trip with the student chapters. So we'll do a little bit of that, but I'll also do a separate video on. Oh, we have a fish visitor. Hold on. But you can see, like,
there we go.
He left.
Oh,
no,
he's around.
Yeah. If you could see, he's right there. He or she, we don't know. All right. Oops. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is right there. Anyway, both positive and negative impacts, as you might expect. We can definitely talk about that during the video where I address that specifically. We'll address that question specifically for a couple of different audiences. One for a 5th grade audience. So Miss Eva Wang's class, 5th grade class in San Jose, California, who I used to do science talks with Dr. Drexler and friends on various topics. Anyway, they're super smart 5th graders. I'm sure you've heard of that one game show, Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader? I'm here to tell you, you're not as smart as these 5th graders. They're super talented, super smart, and they had some great questions. And so we'll all be answering their questions from basic experience stuff like, well, where do you go to the bathroom? Or what are you going to eat? To other questions like, what sort of thing are you seeing? How are the mangroves important? What sort of environment are you seeing in the marine system? How does it all work together? Things like that. So how does climate change impact? All these really good questions. So I'm looking forward to addressing those in the video that we'll be doing for them. Let's see. Sounds like APUS could really use. Let's see, right?
Mm-hmm. Really benefit having its own analog habitat facility.
Oh, totally.
That would be amazing.
S.E. Guthrie. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It'd be such a cool experience. I am a newcomer to this. I mean, Dr. Kristen Miller was my link to this completely. So I am very thankful for that. But a ton can be learned, not just the field experience, the experiential learning aspect of this, but yeah, it would be really, really cool for APUS to be able to facilitate this sort of experience as well, and have a hab of its own to allow students to do field research, students and faculty too. I mean, this is huge for me. to be able to be out here. I'm learning so much from the students, and it's great to see faces and work with students on their projects. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, if you have any other questions, we'll be having another live stream later tonight. Olivia will be leading that one with some of the student groups that we have at APUS. So that'll be another good opportunity to jump on, ask any questions you have. And also for anybody who's online or maybe watching the recording later on, have fun, guys. Thanks, Lex. Appreciate that. This is a student-led group, and we encourage students and faculty advisors and really anybody affiliated with APUS, come hang out with us. Come get into our Slack group. You can do that by emailing apus.arg@gmail.com. Let them know you saw this video and that you're interested in maybe doing some research or doing mission control or starting a research project or just seeing what we're up to, because we have some awesome mission and NASA-funded research coming up for 2024. So please reach out, let us know you're interested, and there's always room for anybody who wants to get involved. So any other questions, comments?
Lex.
Yeah, Lex, thanks for getting on. We appreciate that. Lex has been on a couple of our missions now, and he's been actually did his thesis here at APUS, so great to hear from Lex. And then also from Dean Welsh, have a great mission. We really appreciate that. And just everybody who's wishing us a great mission, and your support has been much appreciated. And stay tuned, because we have the other live stream coming up later tonight. We're going to be doing some video filming, and we'll have some good outreach coming out. So keep in touch with us. We'll keep in touch with you. And with that, unless anybody really wants to put a question in the chat last minute, I will be signing off here in a second. So it's great being able to live stream everybody, and we will talk to you later.
Bye.